Hello, how's everybody doing out there? We hope you're doing well, and we're here to introduce you to a new concept at A+ Sports and Entertainment. It's the International Mixtape, where we talk about wrestling matches that we love and hold dear and think are great. And the reason why it's the International Mixtape is because we are here with our guest host, Yorke, Paul Yorke, all the way from the United Kingdom. How you doing, Yorke?
I am doing good. How are you both doing?
Very good.
I'm pretty well. And I'm also here with my hetero life partner, the Silent Bob to my also Silent Bob, Boris Aguilar. How you doing? How's the wheel, Big Hump?
It's going, man. It's going. Today, as you know, it's been a day. But anytime I get to talk some wrestling with some good friends, I'm always in a good mood.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this is a little concept that we came up with, sort of Paul's idea, sort of something that we've been bandying around. And basically it's just to talk about wrestling matches that we like and we think are great. So we're going to be doing this in a bit of a round table format. We're each going to start with a match that lives rent-free in our head, a match that's near and dear to our heart, but might not be the highest rated on Cage Match, or might not have gotten 7 stars from Dave Meltzer, etc. So we're going to go around the table, starting to talk about a match that we love and hold dear, and then we're going to finish with each saying what we think is objectively the best match in the history of this pay-per-view or stipulation or concept or whatever. So our first international mixtape 1, the Survivor Series, where teams of 5 or 4 strive to survive, fellas. So let's talk about some Survivor Series matches. How y'all feeling about this year's Survivor Series 2024, just quickly before we get into it?
It's War Games, and I think the build, especially for the men's, you can say that certain people have been shoehorned in, but I kind of feel like with the inclusion of Bronson Reed and CM Punk and even Sami Zayn, you have a lot of stories that could be developed coming out of this and into WrestleMania season, which is just around the corner. So I have faith in WWE's booking right now. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I am saying that.
Yorke, what do you think?
I'm a bit mixed on it. I mean, obviously, I like that it's War Games. I do like that match. I'm kind of a bit upset because they don't have the traditional 5-on-5 anymore. You could incorporate both types of matches on the pay-per-view, but I don't think they're ever going to now. I think you're going to think, the Elimination Chamber. Fucking hell. The War Games match is the showcase piece, whereas I've always thought that the 5-on-5 elimination it's still a good match, and it should be utilized more.
I totally agree with you.
Shocked. Sorry, man. I'm actually shocked.
No, go ahead. That
they haven't added a traditional 4-on-4 or 5v5 on top of the War Games matches, but that might just be quote unquote too much. But I thought for sure this year, I don't know why, I thought they were going to add at least another one, especially when you take a look at, the Wyatt 6 and the whatever the Karrion Kross's team is, right? Like there could have been room for traditional Survivor Series matches to keep everyone happy. But at the same time, right, we're looking at a 4 or 5 match card at this point, and timing is a hell of a thing.
Yeah, that's a really good point, man. And they do have some feuds that are tailor-made for it, but I wonder, too, if the 2-ring setup kind of deters them from doing it, because it would just kind of look visually weird with the people either all bunched around one ring or spread out around 2. You know what, though? The 2-ring setup would lend very well to the tag team Survivor match, where there are 10 people just crammed in the corner there. Yeah, it's interesting. So, sadly, there are no, as of yet, Survivor Series matches on the 2024 Survivor Series, the traditional Survivor Series match. But that's what we're here to talk about today, because we miss it by God, and we want to bring it back into the ether. So, Boris, let's start with you. What's a Survivor Series match that is near and dear to your heart, that lives rent-free in your head? What do you want to put on the Survivor Series mixtape?
If I was going to create a mixtape, and the whole point of this show is to create a set of matches that you give to someone who wants to start watching wrestling, hence a mixtape, or someone you're trying to bang. Up to you. No, honestly, this match is very near.
Have Yorke here.
Exactly. Little international
am I
loving.
the meat in the sandwich? Is the UK in the middle of a Canadian sound?
I'm gonna say yes. I don't know.
So this match, I remember watching as a child. I guess by this point, I would have been 5 years old, watching it on VHS after we rented it. So a few months after the fact. And this is Survivor Series, a 1990 Undertaker's debut. Just it lives rent free for obvious reasons.
Oh, $2 Million Man versus Team Dusty Rhodes.
Exactly. One of my favorite, just absolute
Amazing.
favorite matches.
Amazing pick.
Yeah.
I'm so surprised I remember that, the team match. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's just there's something about that match that like it stood out, especially the fact that Undertaker was so dominant, and just seeing someone like that being so dominant, right? Taking out Coco Beware, taking out Dusty, taking out Brett, taking fucking everyone out, and just showcasing this big new MFer.
Do you know what I remember most about that match is sorry, Matt, is basically, Roddy Piper was on commentary.
Yes.
And when he saw the Undertaker, he legitimately sounded scared. When he saw him, like, holy crap, look at this guy.
Yep.
An unbelievable job by Piper on that one for sure. So yeah, as you guys were talking, I pulled up Survivor Series 1990. As you astutely pointed out, Paul, it was Team Dusty Rhodes versus Team DiBiase. The eliminations here. Coco Beware was eliminated by The Undertaker. Actually, first I'll read the teams. Sorry. So the teams, the $1 Million Team, Ted DiBiase, The Undertaker in his first pay-per-view appearance for WWF, the Honky Tonk Man and Greg Valentine, otherwise known as Rhythm and Blues. So that was Ted DiBiase, Undertaker, Honky Tonk, and Greg Valentine versus the Dream Team, Dusty Rhodes, Bret the Hitman Hart, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, and Coco Beware. 4-on-4 Survivor Series match. Yeah, your eliminations real quick. Coco Beware tombstoned to absolute hell by The Undertaker. Honky Tonk Man was eliminated by Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Ted DiBiase then pins Jim Neidhart. It was Ted DiBiase who pinned Neidhart. Then The Undertaker eliminates Dusty Rhodes. So they let The Undertaker take out Coco Beware and Dusty Rhodes in this match before being counted out for being too scary. So The Undertaker is counted out. We are left with Greg Valentine and Ted DiBiase versus Bret Hart. Bret beats the Hammer, Greg Valentine, but he succumbs to Ted DiBiase. And what was an awesome closing stretch, too. That's like Bret Hart in his prime or close to it versus an awesome Ted DiBiase. Still had the fastball in 1990. Great match, Boris. Great call, brother.
Yeah, it always stood out, right? Like, especially when you're a kid and watching these things on VHS. So I always found that the shows that I watched on VHS, whether my aunt sent them to me from LA or we rented them at Rogers Video here in Mississauga in Toronto, those always stood out huge to me.
Yeah, the Blockbuster Video era. Did you have Blockbuster or the Blockbuster equivalent in England growing up, Yorkie?
No, we did have Blockbuster Video. We don't have it anymore. It's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, have you guys incidentally ever seen the South Park episode where Randy buys a Blockbuster and it's basically a Shining parody?
Yeah, I love that.
It's fantastic.
I love that one.
Fantastic if you haven't seen it.
All right. So yeah, that's my pick. Survivor Series 1990, Undertaker's debut. Always will stand out for me. Say what you want about Mark Calloway, the person, but the wrestler is, he's just one of those people that will always stand out.
Oh, absolute legend of the genre of the entertainment form for sure. Yeah, you remember when the Undertaker didn't talk? Boy, those were great times.
I know.
Yorkie, what's a match?
I wish he was still an active wrestler so he could kayfabe us and not talk.
Right? Like who resurrected this guy? Anyway, Yorkie, what would be your choice for a match that lives close to your heart and rent-free in your head?
Close to my heart. It is my heart. This match, I've said it on any time I've been on anytime I'm on a wrestling show and they say, what match got you into wrestling? And I will tell you, is this one. Survivor Series 1988. 88, yes, I was 6 years old. And I kid you not, it got me into wrestling. It made me fall in love with the whole sport. It made me fall in love with tag team wrestling. It was the 10 tag team elimination match. The Powers of Pain, Team Powers of Pain versus Team Demolition. And I think in the late 80s, early 90s, WWF's tag team division was chef's kiss.
That's a good
Absolutely correct, man. Yeah, it's a great call. This was a long match, 42 minutes and 12 seconds. Wouldn't surprise me if that was one of the longest Survivor Series matches of all time. Quickly, I'll go through the teams here and then the eliminations. Powers of Pain on the babyface side, the Warlord and the Barbarian, and the Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, and the British Bulldogs, Dynamite Kid, Davey Boy Smith, and the Hart Foundation, Bret Hart, Jim Neidhart, and the Young Stallions, Paul Roma and Jim Powers was there too, versus the heels, Demolition Axe and Smash, the Brainbusters, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard, the Bolsheviks, Nikolai Volkov and Boris Zukov, the fabulous Rougeau brothers, Jacques and Raymond, and Los Conquistadors, Uno, and of course, Dos.
Do you know what I liked so much about that match?
What's that?
All the babyfaces came out like one after another, just those two. And then all the heels that came out, every single heel team had a manager. Because you had Slick, Fuji, Jimmy Hart, Bobby Heenan.
The who's who.
Oh, yeah, that's amazing. Even if it was only those four. Yeah, man. Sorry to talk over you, Boris, but just like not only the golden age of tag team wrestling, but the golden age of managers and so much fun, wacky characters, bright colors, just chaos on your television.
I will admit, the ending bit did baffle me. It baffled me for several years because I didn't know if it was a Mr. Fuji face turn or if it was a Powers of Pain and Demolition double turn. It baffled the crap out of me, but I still love the match.
Yeah, it's a great call. Yes, this match is famous for the double turn. One of the first I can remember in modern WWE anyway, a double turn where Demolition turns basically babyface and Mr. Fuji turns heel. Although I believe the intention of that was to turn Mr. Fuji babyface and to leave the two teams as they were. I think I'm correct about that. I might be wrong, but the end result was that the crowd loved Demolition for turning on the evil Mr. Fuji, who sided with the Powers of Pain, and then they broke up soon thereafter. But Boris, of these 10 legendary teams, before I read the results of this one, what's your favorite of these 10 absolute fucking legends of wrestling, these teams?
Demolition. I've always had a soft spot for Demolition. I don't know why. And it was just like Demolition always stood out for me. And because they were the bad guys, I've always been, I've always liked the heels. I don't know why. I've always been a fan of heels in wrestling.
I have a couple theories. No, but I totally feel you. A lot of people love the heels, homie. But actually, the results of this match: Bret Hart eliminates Les Fabuleux Rougeau. Bret Hart eliminates Raymond Rougeau, and then Boris Zukov eliminates Jim Powers. Boy, a couple of legends there. Marty Jannetty eliminates Boris Zukov. Tully Blanchard eliminates Bret the Hitman Hart. That's craziness. The Rockers and the Brainbusters. Four absolute legends of wrestling there. Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, Marty Jannetty, and Shawn Michaels. They go to a double disqualification. They were feuding at the time, had a bunch of legendary matches. Smash eliminates the Dynamite Kid, and then the Demolition team are counted out due to Mr. Fuji interference. He pulled the rope down with his cane because he was evil, you see. And the final elimination, the Barbarian pins Conquistador Uno, your sole survivors in this match. The Powers of Pain, the Barbarian, and of course the Warlord, fellas.
There you go. Very good match.
It was just the who's who of tag team wrestling. It's just brilliant. I remember one of the favorite bits I remember specifically from this match. Tully Blanchard got tagged in. So it was, I think it was either Warlord or Barbarian in the ring. Just decided to skip along to the other side of the ring, just tagging one of Demolition without even hitting the other guy. He's like, no.
Love it. Tully Blanchard is a funny, prickly old bastard. We love Tully Blanchard on this here podcast.
Yeah. So I was just going to say, look, it brings it to you, Matt. What is your Survivor Series traditional match that you hold to your heart?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I may have talked about this before also on the old network, but not yet on A plus. So I'd love to bring it back up. It's not one that you'd call a classic, but boy, I love it for a number of reasons, but just very entertaining in the ring. We're going to 2006, fellas. It is rated RKO versus DX, the rare Survivor Series sweep. 5-0 victory by the babyfaces, Team DX. This match also spawned a hilarious meme where Shawn Michaels super kicked Mike Knox, eliminated him in 1 second, which doesn't make sense because a pinfall takes 3 seconds, but Wikipedia says he beat him in 1 second somehow, and then asked, "Who was that?" as Mike Knox's departed corpse rolled out of the ring. Just a great time.
I was just gonna say that this match was. I remember laughing hard. And this is like near the end of when I was watching wrestling like regularly at that time. But I do remember this match. I didn't watch this live actually. I watched this after the fact, like a couple days after the fact, knowing kind of what had happened already. But yeah, it was still very entertaining. And yeah, it was a good one. Just Shawn Michaels. It was classic Shawn Michaels. And this isn't this the same match where he squared up with Melina?
Yes, yeah, that's another meme. 2 memes in this match. At one point, Shawn Michaels versus Johnny Nitro in the ring, slides out of the ring and puts his arm around Melina. Melina thinks it's Johnny Nitro, so she cozies up to him, and then they do the wah! They scream and look at each other's face. And yeah, Shawn Michaels was hilarious when he didn't give a shit about anything. Paul, what do you think? What do you?
I was going to say this match is probably the match that got CM Punk noticed.
Oh, great shout. Yes,
because
DX at the start of this, yeah.
Yeah, because obviously they had a little promo and everyone's just chatting CM Punk. And they're like, oh, they like it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a roughly, yeah, that would make sense. Crazy.
Yeah, timing wise, that's totally right. And very soon, CM Punk would be Mr. Money in the Bank and World Heavyweight Champion, and history can take it from there. But yes, Team Degeneration X, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, CM Punk, and the Hardy Boys, Los Hermanos Hardy, Jeff and Matt, versus Team Rated RKO, Edge, Randy Orton, Gregory Helms, no longer the Hurricane, Gregory Helms, Johnny Nitro, and the Rotting Bones of Mike Knox, who got absolutely shit cranked. Your eliminations: Shawn Michaels eliminates Mike Knox, CM Punk eliminates Johnny Nitro, Matt Hardy eliminates Gregory Helms, Shawn Michaels eliminates Edge, and Triple H eliminates Randy Orton. So the baby faces basically all vanquish a heel, except for Shawn Michaels. They all vanquished the heel that they were feuding with, and this was just
Jeff Hardy didn't get an elimination.
Oh yeah, that's a really good call. Michael's got 2. Yeah, they possibly should have let Jeff Hardy hit the. Yeah, Shawn Michaels, you fucking prick. No, they it's a great call. Thank you, Paul, for pointing that out. Maybe they should have let Jeff hit the Swanton bomb on Mike Knox, but you know what? We would have lost the meme, so I'm okay with the way it played out. Yeah, triumphant win for the baby faces. Just a bit of fun. 11 minutes and 30 seconds. I think this should be on a Survivor Series mixtape, just because it's so much fun. Just a great match.
Great call, Matt. Great call, Paul. Really good matches that we have here. Before we get to the best, you know what's one thing I really miss about Survivor Series? There's actually 2 things. The names of the teams and the promos they would cut as a team.
Oh, it's such a great call. Have you guys ever seen the one with the Rockers and I think the Anvil and the Ultimate Warrior? Yeah. Coked out of his fucking mind, just face paint pouring off of his sweaty face, running around the guys with tape, like putting tape in their mouths and stuff, and just like Shawn Michaels looking at this guy like, who is this complete fucking buffoon? Just absolutely great. Just great
remember,
stuff.
Survivor Series used to take place Wednesday, Thanksgiving Eve. And they would always, like, obviously have, like, turkey dinner, and they would party because it's fucking Thanksgiving Eve, and they're working. So you know that people like the Ultimate Warrior and others were having some fun backstage.
Yes, yeah, I am confident in my analysis that he was coked up in that promo, or something was going on. He was pounding coffee anyway.
When is he not coked up?
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like a lot of his career could probably have been described as coked up. All right, so we're moving on to the matches that we feel are objectively the best of this stipulation. Objectively the best Survivor Series elimination, traditional Survivor Series match. According to you, Boris, what do you think it is?
It's a toss-up, and I'm going to throw one out there, and if the other one isn't mentioned, I will throw it out as honorable mention. But I'm going to go with the one that I saw live. That's Survivor Series 2016, Team Raw versus Team Smackdown. Team Smackdown had AJ Styles, Bray Wyatt, Dean Ambrose, Randy Orton, and Shane McMahon with James Ellsworth, and they defeated Team Raw. Braun Strowman, Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins in 52 minutes, 55 seconds. This match featured Jericho just knocking the shit out of Shane McMahon. This featured Shane McMahon almost killing himself in front of his kids. This match was a lot of fun live, and seeing how long this match was, you don't even realize how long it was, right? Because I like this match a lot.
Yeah, I was also in the building that night, Boris, although we weren't going together. I don't even think we were really super close friends at that point. But yeah, ironically, I was also there, big homie. And yeah, that match was awesome. Absolute classic for sure. One of the best, I would say. Paul, that's not my pick. Is that your pick?
No, not my pick.
Oh, interesting. So we might have a couple differences of opinion here. But yeah, Boris, as you mentioned, the Shane McMahon spot where he jumps out of midair to do the coast-to-coast dropkick and Roman Reigns speared him, that fucked Shane McMahon up badly. He looked instantly concussed. They had to kind of stop the match. And he got this shit kicked out of him by Jericho earlier. Like, Shane McMahon got his ass beat in this wrestling match.
And kudos to Randy Orton for going up to his kids as Roman Reigns is just killed their dad, and I remember seeing Randy Orton kind of talking to his kids on the side there.
Yeah, absolutely great call. Yorkie, any memories of this one?
I remember them. I'll be honest, I completely forgot about that match until you just mentioned it. But I do remember that spot now with Roman, and you can't call any match with Shane McMahon in it the best.
No he matter got his ass kicked, so
to put a pin in 2016, I thought that was an excellent match. The 2016 Survivor Series was a lot of fun. I not only was that one of the greats, like a classic match, definitely like top 4, top 5 at the very worst Survivor Series match ever. I think it's a fine pick for objectively the best Survivor Series match. But what I remember the most from that show is that was where Goldberg defeated Brock Lesnar in like a minute. Like 1 minute, and coming home on the subway in the city of Toronto, people were yelling. Well, there was one guy yelling, like, Vince, you ruined your business. Vince, WWE's gonna die. Like, literally walking down the subway like a crazy man, yelling about wrestling. He was convinced that WWE would fold because Goldberg squashed Brock Lesnar. But those matches ended up being pretty entertaining. The start of a cool feud. And a legendary but somewhat forgotten great show, sneaky great show, Survivor Series 2016 from Toronto. Great call, Boris. Great call.
There you go.
I'm guessing it's my pick now. So I've gone with just 2 years prior to that. I've gone with Team Cena versus Team Authority.
Yes.
Survivor Series 2014. Team Cena versus Team Authority. If Cena wins and his squad, the Authority must disband. But if the bad guys win, they rule WWE forever. And possibly Cena had to get fired? I forget.
Yeah. And it was mental because that match made a star out of Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then it killed him.
Yep. Exactly. Remember, this was in the era of when WWE just would not listen to their fans and fan reaction, where they would stick to whatever plan the old man had, and they wouldn't change no matter what, right? Like, they just didn't give a shit about their fans at this point, objectively.
Yeah, a frustrating place to be in, Boris. We've been there a couple times, but yeah, Yorkie, why do you choose this match? What is it about this one? Because for a long time, I had this penciled into my number one, and I rewatched it today, and then I rewatched the one that I'm switching to. So we do all have different answers, but this was my number one for a long time. I feel like they just took a little long to get to the fireworks factory. Do you know what I mean? If you go back and rewatch this match, the first 10 minutes are a little slow, but then it really picks up and the ending is blazing hot. This is an absolutely incredible match, easily a classic. So why would you say it's objectively the best?
I don't need to. You've just done it for me.
Fair enough.
It's because the build, obviously, you can't deny when the crowd is hot, like it was, it's untouchable. There is another match I was thinking of. I don't know if you're thinking. I don't know if it's your pick. I will tell you once you've said it's what your pick is. But I chose this obviously because obviously you have the WWE debut of Sting as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, spoilers for anyone listening.
Big spoilers there, Yorke.
10 years later. Oh, yeah, 10 years ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago.
Who would have thought Sting would have been in WWE 10 years ago?
Who would have thought that Sting just retired officially?
Yeah.
He had a good run.
In what was... He I wish he would have gotten a little more, but Sting's WWE run was underrated, man. Like, it wasn't that bad. It's too bad that Seth Rollins almost murdered him.
Didn't he have 2 matches?
Yeah. He had the WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
And then the match at Clash of Champions, yeah.
And the Sting
lost.
Yeah.
Lost them both, yeah. That WrestleMania match was shit.
It was. But
it was sad. I would say it's underrated, but it was just like, why did WWE need to take another shit on Sting's legacy? I think Sting had a couple more matches, though. I'm pretty sure he wrestled once on Raw in a tag team match, possibly with John Cena. Might be wrong about that. But he definitely had much more in the tank, much more to offer wrestling, which is one of the great W's in Tony Khan's career, is kind of retconning the end of Sting's and giving him the big send-off. Like, that was one of the best things AEW ever did. I think that really worked out. Just quickly, Team Cena, John Cena, Dolph Ziggler, star of this match, Eric Rowan, Big Show, and Ryback versus Team Authority, Seth Rollins, Kane, rest in peace, Luke Harper, former Brody Lee, Mark Henry, and Rusev. So again, Cena, Ziggler, Eric Rowan, Big Show, and Ryback versus Rollins, Kane, Luke Harper, Mark Henry, and Rusev. Ironically, ironically, in a match where fucking Sting shows up and Dolph Ziggler is the big star, that's the most Vince McMahon match of all time. Look at those 10 names. That is fucking Vince coded right there, fellas.
Yep.
Can I just make an apology to Boris, what I said about calling it a match of the best with Shane McMahon in, when I've just remembered that Ryback was in that match. Although I will say, I am an Eric Rowan fan. I have been since the Wyatt family came. When Eric Rowan was announced as part of Team Cena, the look on Luke Harper's face was beautiful. He was like, "What?" Because he debuted his own music and everything as well. And I'm like, "This is brilliant."
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, a good showing for all these guys, although it was a lot of Kane and Big Show. I distinctly remember the start of this match, also because I just watched it, but I distinctly remembered anyway, Mark Henry starting this match versus Big Show, sprinting across the ring, and immediately getting KO punch 1, 2, 3. Mark Henry's out, and the Authority's like, oh no, what are we going to do? But eventually the Authority cheated, took the lead, and Sting had to save the day. Great stuff overall. Dolph Ziggler's finest moment, probably, if not this, the cash-in.
It is the cash-in.
It's the cash-in? It's probably the cash-in, eh? But this is up there in his career highlights for sure. But yeah, his finest moment is probably...
I'll say it's number 3, I think. Yeah.
What would you have number 2?
His ladder match with Luke Harper.
Oh,
yeah.
Great call. Yeah. Boris, any final thoughts about this 2014 match, homie?
Nah, this match was... I watched this randomly. This is kind of in that time when I was starting to get back into wrestling, where I was watching like basically just the pay-per-views, if at all. And this match was a lot of fun. I just remember like Sting's debut, Dolph Ziggler being the star, and just a bunch of stuff happening. Like this match was just like jam-packed with just good stuff, fun stuff. And in an era where WWE was objectively starting to get shit, it's good that they still had good matches in pay-per-views, which is a point that we've been making week over week about another company. But That's that. All right, let us, Matt, I think it's your turn.
Yeah, man. I will close it out with my choice for the best. So I had Survivor Series 2014 penciled in the entire time. And then I was like, let me go back and watch this. And I did this just a few hours ago. Let me go back and watch this versus this match. And I think the objectively the best Survivor Series match of all time happened fairly recently. Survivor Series 2019, Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT 3v5 Survivor Series match. This fucking match, you guys, is so good. This is so good.
But it pisses me off so much.
It pisses me off how much
why.
they left on the table.
Yeah. Look at, first of all, let's go through the names quickly here. And
No, hold on, no. Just go through who got eliminated first. Just tell me who got eliminated first.
Drew McIntyre eliminated Walter, then known as Walter, now known as Gunther La Ring General.
That's just shit.
Yeah,
That's
shit.
Like what? Yeah,
It's shit. It's malpractice.
It was the star making thing. They were making the star out of Keith Lee.
Yes.
You know, fucking the bear, whatever it was, the bear claw,
Bear
whatever,
I believe,
bear cat, whatever. And he obviously he was amazing, but I still think the shit on Gunther. I bet Triple H was wanting to kill Vince.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
This is 2019, so this is as NXT is starting to lose against AEW. So Vince had it fucking out for NXT at this point.
Yeah, Survivor Series 2019 is like 1 month after Dynamite started. AEW has been picking up steam in the wrestling business. NXT is not doing the best, but this is why they're getting the big push. This is why they're treating NXT like it's some kind of a big deal. Chubby Walter, then, he hadn't lost all the weight. He's still an incredible wrestler, but I could see why Vince McMahon would look at him and be like, who's this weird, chubby European man? So your three teams in this triple threat Survivor Series, Team SmackDown, Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, King Corbin, Mustafa Ali, and Shorty G. Chad Gable did make the team, but by God, he was Shorty G at that time. Versus Team Raw, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, and Ricochet. Versus Team NXT, Tommaso Ciampa, Damian Priest, Matt Riddle, Keith Lee, and Walter. And yes, while they did Walter dirty, you know what's funny? In my mind, I thought Walter was eliminated like Mark Henry was in the match we just talked about. Like 5 seconds, sprints, gets kick, 1, 2, 3, he's out. He actually got eliminated 3 minutes into this match, and he got some shine versus Drew McIntyre versus Braun Strowman as well.
But what annoys me, he's like the longest reigning champion out of all the rosters at that time.
Yeah.
He was NXT champion, NXT UK champion.
Yeah.
And
forever.
Like I said, you just know that at this point, Vince was starting to like just, they knew overall they wanted NXT to shine, but Vince still wanted to give a fuck you, and I think that fuck you went to Gunther, Walter.
Why couldn't they give the fuck you to Matt Riddle or something like that?
It's fair. It's a fair point. And his history shows they probably should have. But yeah, this match is awesome. I absolutely love it. I think it's the most modern Survivor Series match, obviously, because it happened an hour and a half ago. It did happen 5 years ago, but it's definitely like it moves really well. It feels like a modern wrestling match in the way that some of the matches we have discussed, though they're near and dear to our heart, might be slower paced for a new fan. You know what I mean? This one actually, it moves very, very well. I love this match a lot. And everyone got a chance to shine. We saw some character work between Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns, between Baron Corbin and Roman Reigns. LOL, remember Baron Corbin. But great match overall.
To be fair, that whole pay-per-view stands up as, I would probably say, one of the best Survivor Series pay-per-views that has been.
Yeah. I think so.
I 100% agree with that. Yeah, Survivor Series 2019, Survivor Series 2019 from the Rosemont Horizon All-State Arena in Rosemont, Illinois.
Crazy Chicago always. This was a really good one. I like this one a lot. Yeah, fuck. 2019 feels like
Yeah,
just yesterday. But it's so
I
funny
know.
because like there's everything pre-COVID just feels so long ago at this point.
It's weird how that happens. It's just like, oh man, that was just a minute ago. Wait, no, actually, that was a lifetime ago, especially with COVID being an entire lifetime for all of us. But yeah, I think all three of those matches that we mentioned as potentially the best are classics. They're 4.5 stars, 5 stars, whatever you want to say,
May I
and
give
like right
my
there as classics.
May I give my like just honorable mention because this is one that I was so close to picking
Please.
this one, but I did honestly think someone else would pick this, and that's 5-on-5 Survivor Series elimination match from 2003, Team Bischoff versus
Nice.
Team Austin. If Austin lost, Austin was forced to step down as co-Raw GM, and if Austin won, Austin no longer had to be physically provoked to attack someone. This match was so fucking good. I remember watching this one in the theater. My brother and I went to a theater to watch this. So you kind of got a little bit of that experience, but this match was awesome. So much fun, especially with the final. I remember right before they went into one of their commercials, the last shot that you saw was, one of Austin's spears as they fade to black.
Yes, yeah, that was the last shot of this match. I do remember that. This match is great. That's a great call. This is also a classic. I think we identified the 4 must-have classics. We'll tack this onto the mixtape too. Team Bischoff, Chris Jericho, Christian, Randy Orton, Scott Steiner, and Mark Henry versus Team Stone Cold Steve Austin, which was Shawn Michaels, Rob Van Dam, Booker T, and the Dudley brothers, Los Hermanos Dudley, Bubba Ray, and of course, Devon. Yeah, this match was a lot of fun. For a long time, people thought that this was, I think, like the greatest match of all time. And one of the rare, like, heels win in the end match, but it's so satisfying as a viewer. Like, it really, really is a treat. Randy Orton, possibly his finest moment in his career to this day. Definitely at that time, it was the breakout for Randy Orton. He would later have some big moments.
Randy Orton is Mr. Survivor Series. He is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is where those bones began to be made, my friend. This is where he started his legendary status in Survivor Series. But yeah, he is Mr. Survivor Series for sure. Great match. And you know what's funny? The match that this preceded, the very next match, one of the craziest, dumbest, bloodiest, most insane matches of all time. Mr. McMahon versus Undertaker buried alive. That was next after this match. What a palate cleanser.
And then after that was Goldberg versus Triple H.
Hey.
What a time to be alive. 2003, I nearly died. But yeah, great mixtape overall. 7 matches we got on this thing, guys. That was, Undertaker's debut, Survivor Series 1990. Tag Team Survivor Series match, Survivor Series 1988. The Babyface Sweep, Survivor Series 2006. Boris chose the Toronto Classic Survivor Series 2016. Yorke chose for the best match the Dolph Ziggler finest moment, sort of Dolph Ziggler's bronze medal moment in his career. The debut of Sting in WCW Survivor Series 2014. I was partial to Survivor Series 2019 Raw versus NXT versus SmackDown, and we tacked on, Boris, as you said, Survivor Series 2003 because by God, that was a classic too.
I need to add one more on.
Do it.
You can't have a mixtape without mentioning the match that had the most at stake in a Survivor Series match, and that was Survivor Series 2001, Team WWE versus Team WC ECW.
The Alliance, yes.
The Alliance,
yes. That's a great call. So every time I watch that match, I leave with a different opinion because it's just so frustrating that they did the invasion and they get to that point and that's Team WCW. I know that's like a weird complaint to still have, but I'll quickly load up that Survivor Series 2001. It is a great match.
If I remember, it's the Dudley Boys, Rhino, Booker T, and Rob Van Dam.
Team WWF, The Rock, Chris Jericho, Undertaker, Kane, and Big Show. Team Alliance, this is the WCW ECW team. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kurt Angle, if you remember that. Not only Austin, who had turned heel at WrestleMania 17 in 2001 and been a heel ever since. And yeah, the Alliance, Stone Cold Steve Austin heel. Like, we accept that, but that's pretty bad. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kurt Angle was also on the heel team because he just turned as a red herring. He just turned for the Alliance, but actually was Team WWF in his heart. So Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kurt Angle, Rob Van Dam, Booker T, and Shane McMahon. So
right,
yeah, after
that match, forget that. I forget I said anything.
No,
do you know what it is?
Shane McMahon rule.
I was thinking of the match from the Invasion pay-per-view.
Oh, that's fair. And that was an elimination match as well, right? That was a Survivor Series match that could have been on there where WCW won in the end. But yeah, this match is great in the ring. It's 44 minutes. It's like an epic, but just like, yeah, it's a Vince McMahon masturbatory fest. You know what I mean? It is Vince coded, this match.
Don't add this onto the mixtape. No. just, I don't know. You might want to watch it if you fancy it. Do you know what I mean? But you don't have to. Just add that little note on the bottom.
Fair. It's in the liner notes. It's in the vinyl. I love it, boys. I love it. So this was fun. I think we're going to do another one of these before Survivor Series, talking about War Games, the War Games stipulation, and then we're going to keep this gimmick going throughout the weeks and months and, by God, years here at A+ Productions. But any parting thoughts on this here Survivor Series match gimmick? Any mourning we want to do for the loss of the traditional Survivor Series?
If Chelsea Green isn't added to War Games, WWE is leaving so much money on the table.
On what team?
The Faces. She has to be with the Faces. You can't send her to Vancouver and make her a heel. It's impossible.
Did you not watch Raw?
I did. But that doesn't mean someone else won't be taken out. I know they've already recorded SmackDown, but...
Yeah, but obviously with Raw, it kind of told you who's going to take her space.
I think,
Tranquilo. Okay.
Tranquilo, indeed. I think something Boris and I talked about was it would be cool if the same assailant that took out Jade also took out Naomi before the match. And that would probably, of course, be revealed to be Bianca Belair turning on all her friends. But that would be a way to shoehorn Chelsea Green in. Because I agree with Boris. She has to make an entrance in Vancouver. She's going to be the biggest star in WWE if and when she does. They have to let her get out there in front of those fans. If I were Triple H, would book a women's Survivor Series match. Kill all birds with one stone.
There you go.
But yeah, man, I this was a lot of fun. We're going to do it again very soon with War Games coming up probably this week before Survivor Series. And thank you very much for listening. Thank y'all two friends for playing along. And this is the Wrestling Mixtape. Don't you dare miss it.